2022. If you wish to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. The blue shirt up back, are you going to be speaking? Are you going to be speaking today? Okay. Do you swear and affirm to speak the truth at today's hearing? Thank you. Please silence all electronic devices.
Good morning. Our first case is on page 17. It is an administrative hearing for a citation appeal. Senior Inspector Manny Garcia. Case number CE 22050300, case address 1429 Southeast 14th Street. Owner Randy D. King Trust, Randy D. King Trustee. This case was cited on 6/8/22 to comply by 6/18/22. One section complied at $150 per day, $7,050 accrued, and again, this is a citation appeal. Also on page 17, case number CE 22050333, case address 1424 Southeast 14th Street. Owner Randy D. King Trust, Randy D. King Trustee. This case was cited 6/8/22 to comply by 6/18/22. One section complied at $150 per day, $7,050 accrued, and again, this is a citation appeal.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, Senior Officer Garcia presenting cases CE 22050300 and CE 22050333 in reference to the property 1429 and 1424 Southeast 14th Street. These properties were issued 3 citations for the following violations: 47-19.3 parentheses H, which has been complied and no fines assessed; 47-34.1.8.1. There is illegal land use occurring at this RS8 zone property. There are Marina-Like activities taking place on the subject residential property that includes but is not limited to storage of vessels not documented to the property owner. 8-91G has been withdrawn. The subject properties were found storing multiple vessels, of which only one is registered to the property owner. The vessels are as follows: 2012 Viking Panacea, registered to Panacea Holdings LLC, 1516 Ponce de Leon Drive, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33316. 2008 Pacific Mariner Escape, registered to RDK LLC, 1429 Southeast 14th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33316. A 2017 Marquis named Blondie, registered to TAH LLC, 7130 Gladys Drive, Southeast Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49546. 2018 Viking named Heaven Sent, registered to Heaven Sent Brokers at 1429 Southeast 14th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33316. And lastly, a 2006 Hatteras named Lady Michelle, registered to Tate Charters Incorporated at a 2830 West State Road 84, Suite 102, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33312. As per sections 47-34.1.8.1, the city considers storage of vessels that are not registered to the property owner not in compliance with what is permitted within the parameters and the use of a single-family property zone under RS8. The city has been made aware by the owner that the property is not being used as dock rental and is not taking place, that dock rental is not taking place, and that the vessels belong to colleagues and longtime friends of the property owner for when they come to visit South Florida or when the vessels are traveling through to the Caribbean islands. Communication has been maintained with the property owner and his attorney in reference to the subject violations. As per the photos depict, the violations have been complied. At this time, the city is requesting the imposition of fines of $7,050 for each case, which totals to $14,100.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
Officer Garcia.
Please state your name for the records.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
John Phillips, the attorney. Mr. King is here, property owner. And we have a couple other people that like to speak.
Good morning.
I think one of the neighbors also wants to speak up.
Good morning.
But just, if I have a couple questions of
Sure.
Officer Garcia, you met Mr. King and myself, correct?
I met with you at the property.
Okay. And as I understand it, there were 3 violations on both properties. Mr. King has the 2 properties at the end of the 14th Street Peninsula, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was a violation for each for setbacks. That's been complied and withdrawn, correct?
Correct.
And there were 2 violations for purportedly renting of boats on both sides, on both of his properties, correct?
For the record, it was dock rental on both sides.
Yeah.
And yes, that has been withdrawn.
Okay, and that's withdrawn because you're satisfied there's no renting going on.
Correct.
So, has Mr. King been cooperative with you in some of the things you've requested?
Yes, sir.
How would you describe the property?
Clean and
Well-kept.
presentable.
Well-kept, clean?
Yes, sir.
Now, as I understand it, the gravamen or the basis of the surviving charges under Chapter 47, which references the RS-8 single-family residence, is that because there are boats that are docked not in his name, that you consider that a violation as Marina-like activities, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Would it be fair to say that the reason you are suggesting and charging him with violating 4735-1-1A and its incorporation of RS-8 zoning, that you can't rent docks in a residential area?
Dock rental is not supposed to take place in a
Okay.
residential area, correct?
No, those have been dismissed.
Correct.
So the main reason you're claiming there still is a violation is that there are boats there that are not registered in his name.
Correct.
Okay. Now, can you cite to me the specific ordinance or law in Fort Lauderdale that says only boats registered in a homeowner's name can be there?
I am not aware of a certain ordinance that states that.
Okay. So, well, anyway, the point I'm saying, officer, is just the presence of other boats that are not in his name. For example, if he lets his friends use it, he's not renting it. One of the boats, for example, is in an LLC that Mr. King owns with his children. You don't consider that a violation, an LLC that he owns a boat registered in his name, do you?
No, that's not the one that we're
Yeah.
focusing on. As a matter of fact, I'm aware of that vessel also being registered to one of those 2 properties.
Okay. Anyway, I guess the point is, officer, there's no specific definition of marina-like activities in our ordinances, is there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Madam Magistrate, I'm wondering, I know this isn't a court, but it'd be akin to like a motion for judgment on the pleadings or motion to dismiss. Again, I just want to state for the record that Chapter 8, 4735-1-1A, which is the zoning code, says RS-8, single-family residence, you're not allowed to have docking, you're not allowed to have renting of residential lots. It doesn't say you can't let friends or other people put their boats there. I mean, this is America. He owns the land. He owns 2 houses on the point. One of it's his homestead. So respectfully to Officer Garcia and the city, Madam City Attorney, I think the case as a matter of law or your interpretation should be dismissed. I still would like to present some more testimony, just of Mr. King and some others.
Okay, I'll reserve judgment till I hear all
Okay.
the testimony.
Again, lawyers, like.
I know, you have to have your procedure.
Yeah. Final question, Officer Garcia. In light of the fact that there is no restriction on letting people use your dock, do you have reasonable cause to believe that Mr. King maintained a violation of the Code of Ordinances, engaging in marina-like activities?
the city's viewing the storage of the vessels as considering it marina-like activities. And the storage being vessels that are, there's multiple vessels, not just one vessel, talking about multiple vessels that are being stored in a residential property
When you
that
say
are not
stored,
registered to the
you
property.
mean they're docked there?
I'm sorry?
They're docked.
Yes, they're
So-
docked, stored,
They're not,
parked.
they're not in enclosed areas. I mean, the boats come and go. That's, I mean, his friends use the boats, you know. So, so your position is just being there is storage.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, officer. I have nothing else if officer does.
Okay. You want to call your next witness, or
Sure.
does the city attorney at this
I
point?
have-
Patricia Stainville Joseph, Assistant City Attorney. May I ask Mr. Garcia a few questions?
Certainly.
Mr. Garcia, are you familiar with the definition of commercial marina in the code at Section 8.1?
Not off the top of my head, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
let me read that definition to you. Commercial marina means a licensed facility for docking watercraft and/or providing services to watercraft and the occupants thereof, including minor servicing and repairs to boats while in the water, and sale of fuel and supplies. Docks, which are accessory to residential uses, where no boat-related services are rendered, shall not be considered marinas. Does that refresh your memory?
Yes,
Okay. Are you aware of any boat-related services at that property?
I haven't picked up on that. I don't have any evidence in regard to that matter.
Do you?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen any charter boats docked at that particular
The
property?
the only thing that I have related to a charter boat is that one of the vessels was registered to take charters, but other than that, I've never seen a charter actually take place out of that property.
But you do have evidence of a charter boat docked at that property.
The,
Do you have photos?
the photos are presented to the magistrate, but only one vessel is registered to Tate Charters Incorporated. And using the word charters in it.
Okay. And who is Tate Charter Incorporated? What company does that belong to?
Not to Mr. King.
Okay, so that's a company that is owned and operated by a person other than the property owner?
Correct.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I blew up a section of the relevant provision.
Okay.
It says, commercial marine means a license for docking of watercraft, providing services and more, including minor service and repair. Docks accessory to residential uses where no boat-related services are rendered should not be considered marine. Thank you. Can I call Mr. Reiki up?
Yes.
By the way, Mr. Garcia, that boat you mentioned is not there, is it?
No.
Mr. Reiki, oh. Please state your name.
Greg Ike.
Okay. Tell us what you do, Mr. Reiki.
I work for Westport. I've been a customer service manager for 19 years,
How many years you have marina experience?
42 years.
Okay. Can you tell the magistrate are you familiar with factors that go into the operation of a marina?
Typically, a marina is a commercial facility that charges dockage for the purpose of collecting money and providing services of fuel, sanitation, and ship stores, supplies.
Okay. Have you been to Mr. King's property?
Yes, I have.
Would you please describe it to the magistrate?
It's a nice piece of 2 homes, very well maintained.
And by the way, I'd like to tender Mr. Ike as an expert in marina, as a marina expert.
Okay. Any objection from the city? Ms. Joseph, any objection to him being tendered as an expert?
I apologize, Your Honor. Can you state the question again?
Okay. He's attempting to tender this gentleman as an expert witness in marinas. And I'm asking if you have any objection, even though this is quasi, it's not really probably necessary to tender him, but.
Sir, do you have, may I ask him a few questions first?
Certainly.
What is your certification in the marine industry?
There is no certification.
Do you hold any qualifying professional licenses?
No.
Okay. And how long have you been tendering to this particular property or have knowledge of this particular property?
About a month.
Your Honor, I'm objecting to this witness being an expert. He doesn't have any qualifications.
Okay, I don't think it's necessary to tender him as an expert or for me to say he's an expert and the issues raised by the city attorney will be taken into consideration along with everything.
I would just like to tender that he's been in the marine. You work in a marina right now,
Yes,
Westport, and before that you worked in a marina?
worked in a marina on the river, and I also worked in a marina in Oklahoma.
Okay, so
Okay.
you have 42 years as a marina person. Now,
Yes.
have you observed any marina or marina-like activities at Mr. King's two properties?
No, I have not.
All right. Nothing else to this. I just have one more witness, Mr. Matfis.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Reiki. Oops. Morning, Mr. Mathis. Please state your name for the record and your occupation.
Hi, I'm Michael Madfis. I'm an architect.
Okay, and your license as an architect, correct?
Yeah.
And a land
Yes.
use too?
I'm a land planner.
Okay, and do you have experience, you familiar with the Fort Lauderdale Code and zoning ordinances in general, and also specific as it relates to the construction of docks and commercial marinas?
Yes, I've had experience since 1984 with the city of Fort Lauderdale zoning ordinances since then and up until today.
Okay, and can you briefly describe the types of activities or services that would constitute the typical operation of a marina?
Well, business services, selling of marine supplies, repairs. Yeah, I would say anything that has a transaction related to marine work or activity. I didn't notice any of that there.
Can you give an example of a marina in the Fort Lauderdale? In the
Well,
vicinity?
Cable Marine, Westport, the old Jackson Marine, Riverbend Marine. I've lived on the water as well and had dock and so forth. I've been on a lot of the ports.
Okay, have you, but I mean, would it be correct to say that the storage, maintenance, repair for commercial purposes is what a marina is?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and did you have a chance to look at Mr. King's properties?
Yes, I did.
Could you briefly describe that for the magistrate?
It's a beautiful residential pair of homes with extensive amount of waterfront and really well-maintained docks with excellent condition.
Okay. Did you observe any marina-like activities?
None. It was very passive.
Okay. In your expert opinion, do you feel that Mr. King's two docks at 1424 and 1429 are marinas or exhibit any marina-like activities?
No, I don't.
Nothing further. I might have some questions from Madam City Attorney.
Okay, City Attorney, do you have any questions of this witness?
No, Your Honor, but I am objecting to the term expert. We will accept the gentleman as a witness, but again, qualifications were not established as an expert.
Well, just reply, he's an architect, licensed, many years in these particular construction and plans, so I respectfully disagree with the city attorney.
Yeah, I would like to say, I'm not sure what would be an expert otherwise. Could you give me an example of?
No, you don't
Okay.
answer.
I don't ask you.
Sir, yeah, no.
Thank you, Mr. Mathis.
I could be an attorney.
Hopefully not.
As in the last witness, I'm not declaring anybody an expert. I'm going to take their testimony and consider it along with their qualifications
Okay.
and other factual evidence.
Thank you. Your Honor, just for the record, I'd like to submit a copy of the surveys on both of the properties. For your perspective, 14th Street ends west, about a block or so east of Cordova Road. And his two properties are on the peninsula, so he has about 540 feet, 504 of beautiful dockage, as you could, Your Honor could see. One of it is his homestead. The other one, he has a house for his family. So I'll have Mr. King. But I'd like to, for the record, just present the two surveys. I also have a letter from a Mr. Mac Zeldich, if I can read it in, to whom it may concern. I own and live at 1449 Southeast 14th Street. Randy King's my neighbor, and to be frank, I wish every neighbor was even half as decent as a neighbor as Mr. King. Loves the neighborhood and does a fantastic job keeping the properties pristine. He's always kind, helpful, and courteous of all neighbors around him, and is always the first to help any of the neighborhoods when they're in need. I've never been disturbed in the slightest by any conduct of Randy. If any has any questions, here's my phone number. And we have his phone number and a copy. And then there's another email I have. If you just bear with me, Your Honor. This is an email from a neighbor, Mr. King's. To whom it may concern, this is Christy Fisher, and I live at 1442 Southeast 14th Street, Fort Lauderdale. Randy's one of my neighbors. We have never had an issue with him or his family. He's a great, respectful neighbor. We don't have any concerns what he does at his house. Please feel free to contact me. So if I can, and the other thing is, the file should already have the affidavit of Mr. King, which states that he does not rent dock space at his homes, which adjoin each other. He has his personal boat, the Escape there. It's titled an RDK LLC, which he owns the boat with his children. He does not permit any related activities. He's not storing vessels. 3 of his friends' boats at each of his houses don't pay any rent. And he got permits for the dockage. I have a copy of that, quite significant. Again, it's 540 curved convex feet. So if the court would just permit me to put this in the record. At this point, Judge, I'd like to reserve a couple of minutes, very few minutes, to have Mr. King come up later on and rebuttal, if possible.
Okay.
Would that
All
be
right.
permissible?
Your Honor, if I may, the city is going to object to these, to the attorney's testimony for the authors of these letters, as I do not have an opportunity to cross the authors. However, given that the city allows letters of support, we will not object to them being considered support letters, but not as testimony.
Agree.
Anyway, Your Honor, may I be permitted to come back for rebuttal and then a conclusion?
Yes.
Thank you. I think there's some other witness.
Okay. Who else wants to speak?
Good morning. Thank you so much for hearing us today.
Certainly.
My name is Marissa Lord. I live at 1441, just 2 doors down from Mr. King. So we have evidence to prove that it is a very active marina. The gentleman has been running a commercial marina for many years. I've been a resident there for over 10 years. We have experienced armed robberies, large fuel spills, and an extreme amount of traffic with marina-related activities, service crews, fuel trucks, cleaning, boat cleaners, all of the things that go along with a commercial marina. There are over 10 large vessels, 50 feet at all times at these two combined lots. His property has a commercial-sized concrete dock that stretches from one to the other. This is a commercial enterprise not being taxed or regulated. The constant traffic and fuel trucks with crew members supports this as a commercial operation. My children cannot play in a cul-de-sac that should be a quiet neighborhood. So this has been a concern and a well-being for our family for several years. And the letter that was submitted by my neighbor, my question is, were these witnesses paid to be here? My neighbor that submitted the letter in support of Randy had his giant RV in his driveway for months. So that doesn't hold any bar with me. There's many more neighbors that are in complete support of us, but are unable to be here today. So I just wanted my voice to be heard. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Jackie Hansen. I'm right next door, 1435, and we've lived at that property for 22 years, going on 23. In the very beginning, Mr. King started with the 1 or 2 boats, and then we watched it grow and grow until the point that it was obvious to us that it was encroaching on the neighborhood. So we were very concerned about this for quite a while, but we said nothing. And then many of the neighbors started gathering to share their concerns about the property values, about the traffic on the road, about the crime. And we were having more and more crime in our neighborhood. Our car was stolen. The tires were taken off of our new car that replaced it. We've observed the fuel spills, et cetera.
Can you
And
tell me what you've observed that would lead you to believe that there's a commercial enterprise coming up, going on there?
It's mostly the volume of everything, the volume of traffic, the volume of boats, the volume of space allocated to these, quote, friends, the amount of investment made to accommodate a gift to friends is questionable. The amount of water being used, which is landscape watering, I believe. I'm not positive, but it seems so. And so it isn't just the two of us that came today as neighbors. We come representing an entire group, and I believe the association as well. And it's just, we feel it's unsafe for our area, and particularly in a cul-de-sac, which is very hard to navigate. Oftentimes, our garbage truck cannot pick our garbage up because of the volume of vehicles, trying to operate in that area. So we could show the pictures of that, but, this is really
Vehicles doing there, to your knowledge?
servicing the boats. There are all kind of boat services, fuel trucks, trucks that are caring for the boats, maintenance trucks. It's just whatever goes, whatever a boat needs, that type of truck is brought to that neighborhood to service that boat. Well, times the number of boats that are there. So it's a number of different boats that have their own probably service trucks and crew that come. Sometimes it appears as though there are people living on the boat, but I can't substantiate that with photos or anything. It's just the appearance. But whether there is, quote, monies being exchanged or a, quote, commercial marina, there is most definitely a marina-like atmosphere there. And I think that my friend here, my neighbor, has a friend that actually said they have paid for the dock rental there. So again, I can't substantiate that, but. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I'm saying that I can't substantiate it, but we have friends that have said that, so whatever that's worth.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Certainly.
Mrs. Hanson, is it? Is this your brother?
Yes, it is.
Is this your?
My neighbor.
Mr. Phillips, can you go to the mic so we can get it on recording?
Is there a boat Satisfaction in your backyard? Yes, it is. Is that your boat? Yes, it is. Okay. Does that engage in charters? No, it does not. Okay, because there's a website that said it's for charter in the Virgin. Okay. Okay. You don't have any proof that any of Mr. King's family or friends broke into your cars, do you?
I didn't say that.
Okay. But the suggestion is made, his two homes are responsible.
That whenever there's an enormous amount of traffic that is unknown to the neighborhood, that traffic brings onlookers and it encourages all kind of activity. So I didn't say that it was his problem that my car got broken
Okay.
into. We're saying that there's a lot of crime happening in our neighborhood to the point that we had installed cameras to protect ourselves. So there's traffic, and where there's traffic, there's potential crime.
Does Mr. King maintain his places nicely?
I don't think that's part of the issue.
Well,
It's
is he a
not
good,
part of the issue.
is he a good neighbor?
You know, we've tried to be neighborly with him. He seems very reserved and keeps to himself.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had a question here. Is there a vacation rental home on your street, across the street from you?
I don't know.
Like a VRBO or an Airbnb?
I do not know.
Okay.
Your Honor, relevance?
Yeah.
Well, the relevance, Your Honor, is that there are turnovers of other cars and vehicles.
The majority of the traffic is because
It's service
Okay.
trucks. It's huge trucks that are service trucks, not
Okay.
cars.
in crew and fuel trucks. and-
Okay.
Anyway, I have nothing else. Thank you, Mrs. Hanson.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I have Mr. King show up,
Yes,
testify? Thanks. This will be very brief.
please.
Please state your name and residence, Mr. King,
Randy King,
and where's your home located?
1424 Southeast 14th Street.
Okay, and you also own 1429,
Correct.
and you're a Fort Lauderdale resident?
Correct.
How long have you lived here?
11 years.
Okay. Now, 1424 is your homestead, right?
Correct.
And you own 1429?
Correct.
And what do you use that for?
I actually lived there first, and when the other house came up for sale, I bought it, and I kept the smaller house so that when my kids
You
come
speak into the microphone and I'm having.
I kept the smaller house so I had a place for my kids to stay when they come.
Okay, grandkids?
Grandkids and my family, yes.
Okay. You don't rent your, contrary to the accusations, you don't rent any of your dock space out, do you?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you allow any marina activities?
No, sir.
Are you aware of any fuel spills emanating from your place as opposed to your next door neighbors or other boats in the area?
The only fuel spill that ever happened was one of the boats had a fuel leak in the bilge pump, pumped the fuel into the canal, and the cleanup crew was brought in, and it was cleaned up, and it was actually my boat. Somebody was working on it, and they had broke a fuel line, and it was cleaned up, and it was dismissed.
Okay. You submitted those plans to put your dockage in, correct?
The contractor did, correct?
Yeah, okay. So, do you allow any marina-like activities in your property?
No, I do not.
No leases?
No, I do
Do you
not.
allow any major repairs to make to your boat or any of your friends' boats?
No, I do not.
Okay. We submit that, the affidavit submitted, you executed that previously, it's evidence before this court.
Yes,
Yeah, the Escape is your boat, right?
correct.
Okay. Are you aware of any of the accusations that Mrs. Hanson, your neighbor, has claimed exist on your street?
I do know that there has been more crime. In fact, a friend of mine, his wife had her diamond ring ripped off her finger in my backyard.
Okay. Was that any of the work of any of your friends that have their boats there?
No, when they finally caught the guy that did it, they had, I guess they go to like high-end places, and they were at some place buying stuff, and they followed him to my house. And when they got out of the car, they ran up, grabbed her, and ripped the ring off her finger.
Okay. Is there a vacation rental place in your neighborhood, close
Yes,
to you?
next door to 1424.
So that's the one on the south, correct?
Correct,
That's your homestead.
correct.
And they have boat, you know if they rent out their dock?
I don't know. The boats change from time to time, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, but does that generate a lot of traffic with cars and things for that vacation rental next to you?
Yes, and I've talked to the gentleman that owns the house, and over the years, it's gotten better, because during spring breaks, sometimes there's 30, 40 people there. I've had to knock on the door and ask them to please move the car so I can get my car out of my driveway.
Okay. I have nothing else of Mr. King at this point, Your Honor.
Okay, city attorney, have any questions for this witness? Okay,
Not at this time, Your Honor.
okay.
Thank you.
Well, we have nothing else, Judge. If the court would permit a little bit of very brief.
Okay, very
Summary.
brief summation.
Thank you, Judge. Mrs. Hanson, and Mrs. Lord, we appreciate your being here. I can only assure you that Mr. King his only desire is to be a great neighbor. He has a magnificently beautiful property. The problem with these allegations, the fact that the renting charges on both were dropped,
Can you move the microphone?
that is the only specific the only specific provision in the Fort Lauderdale Code that is incorporated by 47, and the allegation is, if I can read it, the code section, 47-34.1. Capital A1, non-permitted land use. So this is a violation of a land use allegation. That no building shall be erected, constructed, or altered, nor shall any building, land, or water be used for any purpose other than as permitted in the district in which the building or land is located. The city code prohibits the renting of docks. It doesn't prevent letting your friends have their boats there. You can have 10 boats. Question is, are the Marina-Like activities? And from section 8.1 definition, commercial marina means a licensed facility for docking watercraft or providing services to the waterfront, watercraft and occupants thereof, including minor servicing, repair to boats while in the water, sale of fuel and supplies. Docks accessory to residential uses where no boat-related services are rendered shall not be considered marinas.
Okay, but who maintains these boats while these people are not in town?
Well, they own their own boats. Now, there's another provision in here under the code that says routine maintenance, including but not limited to varnishing, painting, washing, waxing, buffing, and general cleaning shall be permitted by hand and cordless tools for such work as long as it doesn't violate the noise ordinance. So there's another provision under 8.149 which allows, the boats just can't sit there. Obviously, owners are there and they have to take care of it. They take the boats, they take them
But
out.
some of these owners live out of state, so how do they take care of these boats?
Judge, we don't know that. We don't know that, but they can keep their, this is the Venice of America. They keep their boats down here. It's a huge,
Yeah, but most of them pay for them in a commercial marina. If this is not meant to be a commercial marina, the question is are the activities there akin to a commercial marina? And that's what I'm trying to determine.
well, other than this hearsay, you've heard the direct testimony of Mr. King. You've heard two expert witnesses, and the gravamen of the allegation is that boats not docked, that are docked there, that are not in his name, that is the violation. I would also incorporate Broward County's ordinance, which says waterfront single-family residences with less than 5 slips are not considered boat or marine facilities. That would be persuasive, since in the absence of any Fort Lauderdale ordinance, We have a county ordinance that says waterfront single-family residences and multi-slip facilities, these are not slips, with less than 5 slips are not considered boat facilities.
How many slips does he have? I thought I heard testimony of 10 boats there at one time.
Well, he has 2 houses, and I think Mr. Garcia said there were, right now there's none, except for Mr. King's 2 boats, I believe. But they come and go if boats go out on cruise. So respectfully, Your Honor, it is not a commercial marina in any sense of the word. So, and again, the city doesn't have a code that says you can't have boats that are not docked in his name. It doesn't say that. It says you can't lease it. So, as Your Honor knows, statutes and ordinances that are criminal or quasi-criminal or have punitive effect have to be strictly construed in accordance with the exact language. There is no definition of marina-like activities in the code. There's no prohibition against, you can't have friends keep their boats there. Now, if that's something the city commission want to rectify, that's a governmental aspect of it. So, for the record, 8.1, this isn't according to the city's own definition of commercial marina. Maintenance of boats in residential areas under 8.149 that I've shown, Your Honor, are permitted. They're permitted under 8.149. And I have under 8.149, subparagraph A, repair and maintenance of watercraft in residential areas are permitted. And then it goes, except it's violating Chapter 17, the noise ordinance. It said repair and maintenance, whether major or minor, shall be permitted in residential areas if it's conducted within the confines of a permanent closed structure or so long as the work complies with other city ordinances. So they're allowed to maintain boats, obviously, but they can't do air conditioning replacement, engine replacement. They can't do fiberglass or wood construction. They can't do major. The 8149A allows the maintenance of boats. So respectfully, that answers your question. So we have 8.1 defines commercial marina. This is not. You have 8149, which allows maintenance of boats in residential areas. I submitted Broward County's 27-323, which says he can have less than 5 boats on each property. He doesn't have that now. I think Officer Garcia confirms that. And so respectfully, Your Honor, the suggestion that simply allowing boats that are not in his name to constitute a violation as alleged through the ordinance, through the land use code and incorporation of 8.1 legally is an improper citation. And that's why I had mentioned for the record request as a matter of law to dismiss it. And in terms of the evidence, I think the burden's on the city. I think the evidence is overwhelming that he's not violating any of the ordinance specifically. And I appreciate Your Honor listening, and Madam Attorney and neighbors. I really want to just portray that Mr. King has nothing but respect for his neighbors, and he has, if the court, you can look, it's a magnificent piece of property.
Okay.
Thank you.
City Attorney want to respond?
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I apologize.
All right, I'll have one person speak, and please make it brief. I have a whole docket this morning that I have to take care of.
Yes, Your Honor. I think the term commercial marina keeps coming up, and the comments that our neighbors have come together and made are considered allegations. So is it not likewise to consider it an allegation that there's no monies exchanging hands? And if all of this activity that's being driven into this neighborhood is out of the kindness of our neighbor's heart, then surely that would show up on an IRS return or something as a gifting, because you can't.
Ma'am, The city has dropped the charge that rental activities were going on. So I have to assume they were satisfied that rental activities were not going on. And that's what I need to consider here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Assistant City Attorney Patricia Sainville Joseph, in response to the council's position, I would just ask, Your Honor, grant us the opportunity to have Mr. Garcia read into the record the multiple charter boats that he has personally observed docked at that property and the ownership records that we've been able to substantiate.
Okay.
Mr. Garcia, would you read the evidence into the record?
My apologies. So you want me to read in all the vessels that I've observed on the property?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the vessels that I've observed at the property was a 2012 Viking Panacea, which was registered to Panacea Holdings LLC. The address to that is 1516 Ponce de Leon Drive, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33316. 2008 Pacific Mariner named Escape, registered to RDK LLC, 1429 Southeast 14th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33316. A 2017 Marquis named Blondie, registered to TAH LLC. The address is 7130 Gladys Drive, Southeast, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49546. 2018 Viking named Heaven Sent, registered to Heaven Sent Brokers at 1429 Southeast 14th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33316. And lastly, a 2006 Hatteras named Lady Michelle, registered to Tate Charters Incorporated. Address is 2830 West State Road 84, Suite 102, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33312.
She's,
Thank you, Your Honor. No, the city rests. Thank you.
Mr. Garcia, you know that Mr. King, this is his residence, but he also summers up in Michigan, correct?
As I've recently been made aware.
Okay. I can have Mr. King testify, but I can submit that he's up in Michigan when he's not living down here in his homestead.
Your Honor, the issue of this, excuse me, sir, the issue of this is not the applicant's residence or evidence of his residence in Michigan. This is a boat that has been registered in Michigan unless the applicant can show that he owns that boat. That's what we've been trying to establish, not his residency in Michigan.
She's correct. The reason I mention it is because there's a suggestion that the Blondie mentions a Michigan address. Mr. King lives in Michigan with his children and his grandchildren when he's not living down here as his homestead. That's the only relevant issue, that it's from Grand Rapids where I can also submit he has friends that he allows to use the boat down here. That's the only purpose.
I'd like the city attorney to address a question for me. The codes apparently says that there's not allowed to rent or let. If there's no evidence of rental and the city has satisfied themselves there's no rental going on, then what is the violation factually?
I'm gonna allow first the inspector to address the violation, specifically the factual evidence of the violation, to substantiate the violation, excuse me, and then I'll address the legal part of it.
No, I asked the question. I want to hear the answer.
Well, there's a factual
I
portion to
asked
it.
for a factual response. Go ahead, Inspector.
Your Honor, it's a storage of the vessels on the property, on a residential property. So storage being what the city is mainly focusing on.
And Your Honor, given that there's been multiple vessels that are not registered to the property owner, and the frequency of those vessels being there and being stored on the property gives rise to the violation.
Okay. Do we have any case law on this specific issue and the definition of under this ordinance?
I can certainly research that issue for you, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I do not have any case law on hand to address that.
What I'm going to do, and because I have to bring an end to this.
Well, I could tell
have a
you
lot-
I've researched it.
What-
I've researched it, and there isn't any case law.
Okay.
It's just the ordinance, and I think the strict construction, as well as the provisions that I provided, as a matter of law, just allowing friends to use your dock there's no ordinance that prevents that.
Okay. What the city seems to be saying is that the storage of other people's votes is a commercial enterprise. I'm going to take this under advisement, and I will issue my ruling probably within the next 10 days.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
Ron. Thank you,
Thank-
Madam City Attorney. Thank you, Mr.
Sir.
Garcia.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Our next cases are on page 22. And 23. On page 22, we have case number CE 22050010, case address 3017 Alhambra Street, numbers 1 through 5, owner DC Fort Lauderdale 1 Property LLC. This, with Senior Inspector Dorian Callowan. This case was first heard on 6/30/22 to comply by 7/10/22. 2 sections not complied at $50 per day, $3,000 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Senior Inspector Callowan for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number is CE 22050010. Case address is 3017 Alhambra Street, 1-5. This case came before the Special Magistrate on June 30th, 2022, where the magistrate found for the city to comply 6-51.1 and 6-51.2 and 6-51.3. By July 10th, 2022, or a fine of $50 a day per violation thereafter. At this time, the city is requesting to vacate 6-51.1, and the city would like the remaining violations, 651.2 and 651.3, which are still not in compliance as of my last inspection on August 4th, 2022, to be imposed, which continues to accrue. And also, the city would like the photos entered for the record.
Okay. Sir, please state your name.
Yes, hi, my name is Juan Luis Chueca. I represent Key International, the developers, which I've been speaking with Dorian. Hi, Dorian, nice to meet you. And we know the ongoing issue, and I reached out to Dorian, and we've ordered the amber lights once the violation came in place, or actually before, I think. And the issue we're having with the supply is that the conversion to the amber lights from the existing lights, the two-piece conversion, which we are ordered with from South Day Lighting, which is our lighting supplier, and we have, I guess, emails going back and forth about the delivery date. So far, the estimated delivery date for those pieces is mid-August. So that's, I know we're trying to work it out, but at this moment, we're just asking just a little bit more time to get the lights changed to amber.
Anything from the city? This seems to be a reoccurring thing that people aren't being able to get the parts to do this.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It seems to be a reoccurring theme in these cases about supplies being on back order, et cetera. Does city have anything else on this?
No, just that, this is, sea turtle season does begin in March, and we do go out there a month prior. And I did speak to him actually even before the building was even finished being built about the lighting. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
that's
All
all I
right,
have to say.
I'm going to give you a 15-day extension to get this done, okay?
And you mentioned, I guess, the first one being, I guess, closed out?
We're vacating
Oh, okay.
651-1,
Yes, and just,
interior lighting.
yes, just so you're aware also, the hotel management gives out a letter to arriving guests to make them conscious of, at night, if you're not using it, to close down your curtains, so all the lighting won't bleed out to the exterior. So that's the only thing they could do, because, they can't tell them to just shut off completely their lights.
Okay, I'm going to request that you do the best you can to keep
Yes.
the lights low, turn out unnecessary lights, that kind of thing, and 15 days to get your parts.
Okay.
All right, thank
Perfect.
you.
All right,
Your
thank you.
Honor.
There's
we're-
also an additional case on page 22, case number CE 22050012, case address 3021 Alhambra Street, owner DC Fort Lauderdale 1 Property LLC. Case first heard 6/30/22 to comply by 7/10/22. One section not complied at $50 per day, $1,500 accrued.
Good morning again. Senior Inspector Callowan, case number CE 22050012. Case address is 3021 Alhambra Street. Basically, it's the same thing. This case came before the magistrate on June 30th, 2022. Magistrate found for the city to comply 651.1 and 651.2 by July 10th, 2022, or a fine of $50 a day per violation thereafter. The city is requesting to vacate 66-51.1, and the city would like the remaining violation, 6-51.2, which is still not in compliance as of my last inspection on August 4th, 2022, to be imposed. However, if we're going to keep it across the board, if you want to do the 15 days or
Okay.
$50 a day
Yeah,
thereafter,
I
that's
think
fine.
we have three, right? Three different lots.
I mean, sorry,
I get
the
it.
15 days, sorry.
Yeah, 15 days. State your name again for the record on this case.
Juan Luis Chueca.
Okay, all right, 15 days, please get that done. Thank
Okay.
you.
There's another case on page 23, case number CE 22050013, case address 3029 Alhambra Street, owner DC Fort Lauderdale 1 Property LLC. This case was first heard on 6/30/22 to comply by 7/10/22. One section not complied at $50 per day, $1,500 accrued.
Excuse me. Senior Inspector Callowan, City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 22050013, case address 3029 Alhambra Street. This case came before the special magistrate on June 30th, 2022, where the magistrate found for the city to comply 6-51.1, 6-51.2 by July 10th, 2022, or a fine of $50 a day per violation thereafter. The city is also requesting 6-51.1 to be vacated as well. And I guess we'll do across the board the 15-day extension.
Yes, and the orders are vacated, and 15 days on this one as well, and state your name again for the record. on that case.
Juan Luis Chueca.
Okay, thank you
And quick
very
question, just, why are we still showing three different addresses? I know we did a unity,
I don't know. I don't know the
because
answer.
it's, I know when we developed the lot, it was three, we did a unity title, so we only have one legal address, which was
Maybe
3029.
the inspector knows, you can talk to her about that, but I have no knowledge of that. Why they're.
What was the
showing-
question? I'm sorry?
Why they're still showing three different parcels, is if it's
Well, that's-
one,
I understand. That's what's on BCPA, and that's what we use.
okay.
You know, that's something that you would have to
Okay.
combine the parcels if you wanted to.
I'll do that. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 11. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22060319, case address 720 Northwest 14 Terrace, owner MPG 700-745 LLC, in care of Metropolitan Property Group. Property posted 7/21/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22060319, case address 720 Northwest 14 Terrace. This property was first inspected on June 16, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, litter, and debris on this property and/or its swale. 47-19.4.D.8, there is a dumpster enclosure that is not maintained at this location. The gates are not secured on the enclosure. The lids of the dumpster have been left open. There's trash and debris within and surrounding the enclosure. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover on the property and swale. Inspection report mailed out to the owner listed on Broward County Property Appraiser records on June 16, 2022. Pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7, 2022, and the violation still exists. City is requesting 28 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Xiomara Ibarra Blackmoon, and I represent Metropolitan Property Group, which is the management company for this property.
Okay, are you in agreement to bring the property into compliance within the next 28 days or face a fine of $50 a day?
Okay, I've been in touch with the inspector, even send them in videos and photos that we, on the daily basis, we have a person that works in that property every single day. And every single day, we pick up the garbage, we clean out the garbage, and in the afternoon, it looks just the same. We compliance, regarding closing the lid in the dumpster, and the video that I sent him yesterday, it will show the containers are empty, and the lids are closed, and the tenants just throw everything in front of the.
Well, you're going to have to get
container.
control of your tenants because it's the property's responsibility to keep the area clean.
We do, and we clean it every single day, and we give them fine, and we call it, and I'm on the phone, we go to the property, but they continue doing it. It's something, that is really.
Fortunately, the way the code is written, it's still the property owner's responsibility. So you're going to have to solve the problem, whether it means getting additional trash cans or dumpsters or whatever it takes. You got to solve the problem.
We do have two of them, and I can show you evidence with pictures on it. And he can, he can
'Cause they look
testify
like
about
they're
that.
overflowing to me, so.
Okay, well, he's been in the property after that and see, it's a daily thing. And I have photos here to show you. I even have videos daily. I do that every single day.
Okay, 28 days or $50 a day thereafter, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 3. Inspector Bernstein Sambert, case number CE 22040843, case address 1324 Northwest 9th Avenue. Owner, DeFelutes Jean Jules. Property posted 7/13/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Bernstein Sambert, City of Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number CE 2202. I'm sorry. Yes, case number CE 22040843, property address 1324 Northwest 9th Ave. This property was inspected on April 19, 2022, cited for the following violations: 18-1 complied, 9-306 complied, 9-305B complied, 47-34.1.8.1 complied, 9-304B complied, 9276C3 complied, 9-279G complied, and 9-307A complied. The only remaining violations is 9-280B. There are building parts which are deteriorating and not being maintained. The kitchen is not being maintained. The kitchen is missing countertops, and the sink is not installed properly. Due to noncompliance on July 18, 2022, notice of hearing was posted on the property. A pre-hearing inspection on August 8, 2022 revealed the violation stated is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that shows violation as depicted. The city is requesting 28 days to comply or a fine of $25 per day thereafter.
Sir, please state your name.
My name is Jean Jules, deliberate.
All right, looks like you've been working diligently on the property. Can you bring the rest of the property into compliance within the next 28 days?
Yes, ma'am. The problem is I have I met somebody that do the kitchen for me, and then he showed me the pictures and everything, all the work is done. And then I was not there when he installed the kitchen, and then I was out at the doctor because I'm a sick man and also a disabled man. And then when I came back, and I found he messed up everything in the kitchen.
Well,
So,
we appreciate your diligence, and we're going to give you 28 days. If you run into a problem or have any questions about the violation, please contact the expert, and I do wish you good health.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 12. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. Case number CE 211-10166. Case address 510 Northwest 22nd Avenue, number 3. Owners William and Electa Cone. Property posted 7/21/22. Posted at City Hall 7/26/22. No worry, Wilson.
Morning, Your Honor. Inspector
No,
Wilson.
no. We're gonna.
You're good.
Yeah. Our next case is on page 19. Senior Inspector Leonard Champagne, case number CE 22060695, case address 9 South Gordon Road, owner Beach Club 1124 LLC. This case was cited on 6/28/22 to comply by 7/13/22. One section not complied at $200 per day. $5,200 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed and fines continue to accrue, and no appeal was received for the citation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Leonard Champagne for the City of Fort Lauderdale for case CE 22060695, address 9 South Gordon Road. This property was cited on 6/28/22 for violation 15272A. As of last check, it has not come into compliance. No appeal has been received. The city is requesting the full amount to be imposed.
Please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Masad, and I'm the owner of the property.
Okay. Did you file an appeal in this case?
I didn't know I was supposed to. I thought everything's been filed. All the documents have been filed. So as far as I know, as of today, it's compliant. It hasn't been rented since you guys posted that. It's actually in the process of being remodeled. The dock got ripped out anyway. So the whole thing's been shut down. So until we get that final approval, I think the inspector has to come back out and give us.
Did you remove the advertisement?
Yes.
When did you remove the advertisement?
Whenever the notice was posted.
Okay. All right, let me tell you the reality of the situation here. Because you have not filed an appeal in this matter, the instructions to do so within 15 days are on your citation.
Okay.
And the way the code reads, if you do not file for an appeal, I have no authority but to impose the fine. Now, you can, use another process called a lien reduction, and that I can consider mitigating circumstances and perhaps try to work with you. But for today, with no appeal filed, the only thing I could do is impose the fine.
Okay, so for that, is that something I will file after this? So you'll impose the fine and then?
I'll impose the fine, but if you want a reduction in the fine, you have to go through the lien reduction process.
Okay.
And then I'll consider any mitigating circumstances you may have, okay? All right.
Your Honor, just to let the respondent know, as of today, when it was checked, the ad is still up, and I'll be glad to talk to her about the rest if she likes.
Yes, I would encourage you to talk to the inspector and make sure you understand what your obligations are, because this is going to continue to run, these fines.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 12, Inspector Malayka Murray, case number CE 22040729. Case address 2710 Northeast 49th Street, numbers 1 and 2. Owner Thomas Stafford. Property posted 7/27/22. Posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Inspector Murray, number 302, on behalf of the city, presenting case number CE 22040729. Case address is 2710 Northeast 49th Street, for the record. My colleague Wilson Quintero Jr. first inspected this residential property that is zoned RS8, residential single-family, zoned location on April the 22nd, 2022, following a complaint received concerning this location. The following violations were cited at that time: 18-12 for overgrowth, which is now in compliance, 9-304B for the driveway at this property not being maintained, and is in a state of disrepair, having cracks, damaged and missing sections, as well as stains of oil and dirt. The next violation would be for 9-306, which would be for the exterior building walls not being maintained. There was a fascia as well as soffit that was in disrepair, as well as areas of the exterior wall that had stains, as well as missing/peeling paint. That violation is currently in compliance. The next violation was for the 9-280H1 for the wood fence at this property being in disrepair and not being maintained, having a damaged or several damaged wood slats. That violation is currently in compliance. This case was first scheduled for the Special Magistrate on July the 5th, 2022. There have been conversations by phone with Mr. Thomas Stafford, as well as in person with his real estate agent in regards to the violations. And during those conversations, they were made of the corrective actions for resolution for those violations. BCPA record shows that there's been no change in ownership of this property since June 24th, 2005. This property is homesteaded. During the pre-hearing inspection on Sunday, August the 7th, 2022, I observed that there is only one violation that does remain, 9-304B for the driveway, having cracks and breaks in it. It has been semi-patched, but does need to be resealed and surfaced. Currently, we do have Mr. Stafford here today who would like to actually speak on behalf of this property.
What is the city's recommendation?
City's recommendation is 35 days to bring the property into compliance, or $50 per day for that one violation that does remain.
Okay, sir, please state your name.
Yes, my name is Thomas Stafford, and I'm in complete agreement with everything that the inspector has stated. It appears that I thought that patching would be sufficient, but apparently the city wants to have the driveway re-sealed, recoated, so I'm in agreement to do that.
Okay, can you get it done within the next 35 days?
I think so, yes. It's not as complicated as some of the things that you run across.
Right.
I see resealing people going by all the time, so
Okay.
that should be doable.
All right, good. If you run into a problem, make sure you contact the inspectors before fines start to run.
Say it again?
I said, if you run into any kind of problem, make sure you contact the inspector before the 35 days are up.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Our next case is on page 7, Senior Inspector Gail Williams. Case number CE 22030714, case address 904 Ponce de Leon Drive, owner Colleen Hurt. We'll move on as the representative has left. Our next case is on page 25. Senior Inspector Dorian Callowan. Case number CE 200912888. Case address 1812 Northeast 23rd Avenue. Owner Augustus DeLong. This case was first heard on 11/9/21 to comply by 2/8/22. There are 2 suspensions notated on the agenda. One section not complied at $50 per day. Fines are due to start on August 10, 2022, and this was an order to reappear. Additionally, on page 25 is case number CE 201-00030, case address 1812 Northeast 23rd Avenue, owner Augustus DeLong. This case was first heard on 11/9/21 to comply by 2/8/22. Two suspensions are notated on the agenda. One section not comply to $50 per day. Fines are due to start on August 10, 2022, and this was in order to reappear.
Good morning again. Senior Inspector Callowan for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number is CE 2009-1288. And can I read both of them at the same time? Or you want me to do one at a time?
One at a
Doesn't
time.
Okay. And CE 201000030. The case address is 1812 Northeast 23rd Avenue. And both of these cases were first inspected on October 1st, 2020 by Inspector Malayka and brought before the magistrate on November 9th, 2021. And the magistrate found for the city. And there was extensions given. There was 2 extensions given. And a pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 8th, 2022. And both violations remain as depicted on the pictures, which I would like entered for the record. I checked permitting on Acela, and there was a inspection, but it actually failed. And I would like to enter that for the record. I have a copy of that as well. And at this time, the city is not supporting any other extensions. And I would like the full imposition of fines, which continues to accrue.
Please state your name for the record.
Maria Castro.
Why is it taking so long to get this property into compliance? It's been going on since October.
Yes. Your Honor, actually, it's been a lot of situations been going on with this project. And as of right now, we failed the inspection because of the existing conditions. We built the seawall a little bit out, and now they want a revision. So I got pictures here. I can show you that we are actually ready to pour, but we cannot pour the new seawall because the inspector want the revision. So the engineer is working on the drawings, but we have to go back to the environmental department because this is underwater and it's not built as per the approved plans. So now that's the problem we encounter right now. But if I present these pictures, you can see that since I was here 3 months ago, it's been progress. And actually, we were ready to have this seawall pour, but unfortunately, we have to wait now to get all this process complete.
Your Honor, excuse me, I'm sorry. The fines don't start until tomorrow, so
Right.
we no longer support any extensions,
Okay.
and then the fines would start tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
We are looking for an extension because it just, unfortunately, is that canal, whereas this seawall is, we cannot get the equipment, and we have to depend on another contractor. So they took maybe almost 6 months to get there, and when they finally got there, we encounter underground cables for the electrical. It's been a lot of different things happening with this project, that's what has been taking so long.
And when do you anticipate completion of the project?
Well, if we can get this approved, the drawings and everything going, we can pour the seawall and this can be done. So we actually asking for another 90 days just to be,
Anything else?
Nothing else from the city.
And here you can show for the record.
Well, this has been going on since October, And then when you get the work done, it's not done according to the submitted plans. And as a result of that, it seems like we have a problem.
It's because the existing condition, Your Honor, this wall was falling, so it was, a lot of times you can do the plans because you have this survey and it showed the wall is gonna be, but when you get to the job, that wall was falling, so then when we started installing the panels, that wall keep, falling into the water, and then we encountered this situation like it's underground cables from FPNL and probably from AT&T. So then we cannot dig, and that's what everything changed. So now we are in the process trying to get the revision and going to the agencies or the environmental department to get this approved.
All right, I'm going to give a 63-day extension in an order to reappear.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 21. Inspector Gustavo Caracas. Case number CE 22060305, case address 843 Northwest First Avenue. Owner Elliot Quinteros. This case was cited on 6/13/22 to comply by 6/13/22. One section complied at $150 per day, $1,050 accrued, and no appeal was received for the citation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Officer Caracas for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number CE 22060305, located at 843 Northwest First Avenue. These violations were first cited on June 13 of 2021. A total of 7 days have been not in compliance. Your Honor, we're asking $750 out of the $1,050. So a total of 8 re-inspections have been made on the property. I've actually had conversations with the property owner regarding the violation, and I'm happy to announce that the case is in compliance, the property is in compliance. City is seeking only $750.
Okay. Sir, please state your name for the record.
Morning, Your Honor. My name is Javier Ruiz, so I represent the owner. The property manager, he's my tenant.
You in agreement with the city's request for $750?
We want to reduce that because the owner...
I can't do that because, as I told the other person, if you did not file an appeal, I have no authorization but to impose the fine. So I either impose the $1,050 or I take the city's recommendation and impose $750. I don't have a choice.
No, but the problem is the tenant don't receive anything, so he don't know. So I'm just do the property management. So,
Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I mean, you certainly are free to file for a lien reduction, and I'll consider any mitigating circumstances. But the way the code reads is that if you don't file appeal, that I have no discretion but to impose the fine. So $750 fine.
Something to say? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 2. Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 22040602, case address 2660 Northwest 25th Street, owner H2A Investment LLC, property posted 7/14/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 22040602. Property address 2660 Northwest 25th Street. The property was inspected by Officer Murray and the following violations were observed. 9-313 has complied. 18-12, subsection A, there is overgrown trash, rubbish, and debris on the property and swale area. An inspection report was issued on 4/19/22. A re-inspection of the property was done on 4/30/22. A notice of hearing was posted on 7/14/22. As of pre-hearing inspection on 8/8/22, the violation remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 14 days or $50 a day.
Sir, please state your name.
Hi, my name is Alexander Pinto.
Okay, do you have any problem picking up the trash within the next 14 days?
No, no problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 47. I'm sorry, page 27. Inspector Malayka Murray. Case number CE 2202-0738, case address 4501 North Federal Highway. Owner Bird Irons Real Estate, Inc., in care of Federated Department Stores Tax Department. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 8/9/22. Two sections not complied at $100 per day. Fines are due to start August 10th, 2022, and this was in order to reappear.
Inspector Murray for the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, case number is CE 2202-0738. The case address is 4501 North Federal Highway. This case first became before the Special Magistrate on June the 14th, 2022, where evidence was presented and the magistrate found for the city. I did a pre-hearing inspection on yesterday to actually observe the current state of the property to see that there were workers actually repairing the two violations that were occurring at the actual property itself. We do have property representation here. These violations, again, were first cited on February the 9th, 2022, and a total of 9 re-inspections were made at the property. There have been conversations in person with property representation, and during those conversations, the status of the violations and corrective actions were discussed. Currently, the property is not in compliance, but we do have property representation who would like to speak with you in regards to that.
Yes, my name is Tom Stevens. I'm with Macy's, and we have completed the painting, the repainting of the building on the north wall and also the west wall where it was damaged by vines and things like that. All that's been removed. That's been taken care of. We do not yet have a contract for repaving, but we do have a proposal and we have a selected vendor, and we will be issuing a contract within the next 2 weeks. And then we will set a date to repave. We asked for an extension of time.
How much time do you think you need?
The inspector and I discussed this yesterday. I feel that we need 60 days in order to be able to be completed by the time that finishes. I know that the city has a different viewpoint.
The city is not opposed to allowing 63 days.
Okay, 63-day extension. After that, the fines will continue to run, so.
Are the fines accruing now?
No, we're going to suspend the fines during those 63 days.
Okay, we'll be done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Magistrate.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 8. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 2202-0178. Case address 828 Northwest 14th Way. Owners Scarlett Martinez Hiciano. Property posted 7/21/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Morning, Your Honor.
I'm
Inspector
sorry.
Wilson.
Wilson. Gus? Thank you, sir.
You're going to be translating. Do you swear and affirm to translate truthfully from English to Spanish and Spanish to English? Thank you.
I understand English. It's fine.
Morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22020178. Case address 828 Northwest 14th Way. This property was first inspected on February 4th, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-304B, there are vehicles, trailers parked on the grass lawn area. There is no driveway on the property. 24-27B is complied. Inspection report was posted on the property and also mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records. Total of 13 inspections have been conducted on this property and the violations still exist. There is a permit which has been applied for to construct the driveway, permit number BLDRPAV 22030038. However, a check of the system reveals it to still be in the awaiting client reply stage. I have been in constant contact with the boyfriend of the property owner and had been allowing them time for issuance of the permit. However, progress is not being made and the permit still says awaiting client reply. So it was scheduled for today's hearing. City is requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $25 a day thereafter.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Scarlett Martinez.
Okay. Can you ask her if she can bring the property into compliance within the next 35 days?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 26. Inspector Malayka Murray. Case number CE22030650. Case address 5561 Northeast 28th Avenue. Owner Dominique Darpino Estate. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 8/9/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. Fines are due to start August 10, 2022, and this was an order to reappear.
Inspector Murray for the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, case number CE 22030650. The case address is 5561 Northeast 28th Avenue. The case first came before Special Magistrate on June the 14th, 2022, where evidence was presented and the magistrate found for the city. Currently, there's one violation that remains at the property. This property was first cited on March the 15th, 2022, and that one violation that does remain is for the roof being stained and/or dirty. Currently, we do have property representation here who would like to actually speak with you in regards to the current state of the property.
Sir, please state your name.
Don Darpino.
Okay. How come this roof has not been, I think it just needs to be cleaned, right?
Well, but it needs a repair before I pressure wash it.
Okay.
And it was a question of, it was more expensive than I thought from the bids I've gotten. So it was a question of raising the capital. I'm almost there.
Okay. How much time do you think you need?
Just a few weeks, because I'm worried about the leak during a hurricane.
Sure, sure. All right. 35 days okay with the city?
That is correct.
All right. I'll give you a 35-day extension and suspend the fines during that time.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Thank you.
Good morning. Are our remaining respondents here only for lien reduction? Lien reduction? Okay, so we're going to take a brief recess, and then we'll get started with our lien reduction. Thank you for your patience. Good morning. We're going to resume this morning's special magistrate hearing with our non-respondents. We ask that our lien reduction participants bear with us one more minute, or 12. Our next case is on page 2, Inspector Malayka Murray, case number CE22050462, case address 5560 Northeast 33rd Avenue. Owner Marco and Age Pekic, property posted 72722, posted at City Hall 72622.
Case number CE 2205-0462. The case address is 5560 Northeast 33rd Avenue. I first inspected this residential property that is zoned in RS8 residential single-family, low-medium density zone location on May the 16th, 2022, and the following a complaint received concerning this location, and the following violations were observed. 9-306. For the exterior building walls having not been maintained, there are areas of the exterior near the front entrance that have stains / missing or peeling paint. The next violation would be 9-308B for the roof having stains or being dirty. Next violation would be 9-304B for the driveway having stains or being dirty. Another violation would be 9-305B for the landscape of this property not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of the front lawn that have dead or missing ground cover. The next violation would be 18-12A. There is overgrowth of vegetation within the gated entrance area at this property. This case was scheduled for the special magistrate on July the 5th, 2022. There's been no contact with property ownership or representation at this point in the process. BCPA records reveals that there has been no change to property ownership since July the 15th, 1999. This property is listed as being homesteaded. A pre-hearing inspection performed on Sunday, August the 7th, found that all of the violations do remain as depicted in the pictures. The city is recommending 35 days to come into compliance or $50 per day per violation to begin to accrue thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you very much, Special Magistrate.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 4, Inspector Bernstein Sambert, case number CE22060231, case address 227 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. Owner Clothes Connection, Inc., property posted 7/12/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number CE22060231, property address 227 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. This property was inspected for a sea turtle season on June 9th, 2022, cited for the following violations. 651.1, there is artificial light specifically that is illuminating the incorporated beaches of Fort Lauderdale. The interior light can be seen from the beach. Due to noncompliance on July 7, 2022, the violation stated is not in compliance. Pre-hearing revealed the following violation is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violations as depicted. The city is requesting 10 days to comply or a fine of $50 thereafter.
So ordered.
Our next case is on page 6, Senior Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE22050051, case address 3544 Southwest 12th Court, owner Solomon Memran, property posted 7/20/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE22050051, address 3544 Southwest 12th Court. I inspected the property on May 3rd, 2022, and cited for the following violation. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and or its swell. Violation 47-34.1.8.1 has complied. Violation 18-4C has complied. 9-304B, there are vehicles and trailers parked on the grass lawn area. The gravel has grass growing up in between the rocks, and the paved driveway has cracks and stains. An inspection report was mailed to the property owner listed on BCPA via first-class mail. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7, 2022, and found the following violations. 18-12A and 9-304B remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 10 days for 18-12A and 63 days for 9-304B to comply, or a daily fine of $50 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 7. I'm sorry, no, it's not. Our next case is on page 7. Senior Inspector Gail Williams. Case number CE 22030714. Case address 904 Ponce de Leon Drive. Owner Colleen Hurt. Property posted 7/22/22. Posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22030714, address 904 Ponce de Leon Drive. I inspected the property on March 16, 2022, and cited for the following violation. 25-100 point. There are pavers placed in the right-of-way swell area without the required condition/permit. Inspection report was posted on the property to comply. Posted on the property. A copy was mailed to the property owner listed in BCPA via first-class mail. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7, 2022, and found the following violation. 25-100 remains as depicted in the photos. The representative was here for the property. We communicated in reference to time given. They're going to request from the city to try to get a variance. So the city is requesting 90 days to comply, or a daily fine of $25 per day thereafter.
Okay, 91.
Thank you.
So ordered.
Our next case is on page 8. Senior Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 22060269. Case address 1448 Northwest 6th Street. Owner Marglip Investments LLC. Property posted 7/20/22. Posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22060269, address 1448 Northwest 6th Street. I inspected the property on June 12, 2022, and cited for the following violation. 9-306. Their exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia and soffits, are in disrepair. There are areas of the exterior that have stains, missing and peeling paint, and graffiti. Inspection report was posted on the property. A copy was mailed to the property owner listed in BCPA via first-class mail. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7th, 2022, and found the following violation. 9-306 remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 35 days to comply, or a daily fine of $100 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Our next case on page 8, case number CE 22050052. Case address 712 West Dayton Circle. Owner Sway 2014-1 Borrow LLC. Property posted 7/20/22. Posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22050052, address 712 West Dayton Drive. I inspected the property on May 3rd, 2022, and cited for the following violations. 9-305B, complied. 18-4C, there are 5 derelict vehicles without current tags on the swell or on the property. Inspection report was posted on the property. A copy was mailed to the property owner listed in BCPA via first-class mail. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7th, 2022, and found the following violation. 18-4C, there are 3 vehicles, a green Chrysler, a covered black Mark V, and a covered black Ford Mercury, remaining as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 35 days to comply, or a daily fine of $50 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Our next case on page 9, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22020417, case address 1209 Northwest 2nd Street, numbers 1 through 4. Owner Tony Myrtle. Property posted 72122, posted at City Hall 72622.
Morning, Your Honor. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22020417, case address 1209 Northwest 2nd Street. This property was first inspected on February 16, 2022 by previous Inspector Lopez, and the case was then recited by myself on May 28, 2022 to amend the case for an additional violation found. Section 24-27B, there is or are containers left out overnight after collection day and not pulled back to an approved location. 18-4C is complied. 9-304B is complied. 9-305B, the landscape at this property and swale is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-306 is complied. Amended inspection report was mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on May 28, 2022. A pre-hearing inspection of the property was conducted on August 7, 2022, and the violations remain. City is requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
So ordered.
Our next case on page 9, case number CE 22040497, case address 1725 Northwest 6th Place, owner Andrew Bryant. Property posted 7/20/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22040497, case address 1725 Northwest 6th Place. Property was first inspected on April 14, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 9-304B is complied. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. Inspection report posted on the property and also mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on April 14, 2022. Pre-hearing inspection conducted on August 7, 2022, and the violation still exists. City is requesting 35 days to come into a compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
So ordered.
Our next case on page 10, case number CE 22050065, case address 821 Westboro Boulevard, owner Discount Auto Parts Inc. in care of Advanced Stores Co. Inc. number 9215. Property posted 7/21/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city. Case number CE 22050065, case address 821 West Broward Boulevard. This property was first inspected on May 6, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 18-12A is complied. 18-1 is complied. 47-19.4.D.8 is complied. 47-20.20.H. There are parking facilities that are not maintained at this property. The concrete surface has cracks, the damaged areas, and stains of dirt and oil. There are wheel stops which are damaged or not secured, and the striping is faded and or missing. 47-21.11.A is complied. 9-306 is complied. Inspection report mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on May 14, 2022. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7, 2022, and the violation still exists. There has been constant contact and progress made to correct the violation since the case was scheduled for this hearing. The city is requesting 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
So ordered.
Our next case is on page 12. Case number CE 211-10166, case address 510 Northwest 22nd Avenue 3. Owners William and Electa Cone, property posted 7/21/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city. Case number CE 211110166, case address 510 Northwest 22 Ave. This property was first inspected on November 20th, 2021 by previous Inspector Lopez, and then again on June 1st, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 47-19.5.E.7, the chain link fence at this property is in disrepair. There are sections which are not secured, have damage, and or are rusted. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia and soffits, are in disrepair. There are areas of the exterior that have stains and missing peeling paint. 9-276C3, there are rodents, vermin, and other pests at this location. The property is being maintained in such a way that it affects the health, safety, and welfare of the occupants. Section 24-27B, there are containers left out overnight after collection day and not pulled back to an approved location. 47-20.20.H, the parking facilities are not being maintained at this property. The asphalt has cracks and potholes throughout the surface. 18-12A, there is overgrowth of grass, plants, weeds, trash, rubbish, litter, and debris on this property and/or its swale. Original inspection report was mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on November 20th, 2021, and the amended inspection report was mailed out on June 1st, 2022. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on August 7th, 2022, and the violation still exists. These violations will be treated as a repeat per the code and ordinances due to the property owners having had numerous cases opened on several properties within the city of Fort Lauderdale, which have been heard by the magistrate, and a finding of fact, including imposition of fines, have been issued on those previous cases. The city is requesting 28 days to come into compliance or a fine of $100 a day thereafter for each violation.
So ordered.
Our next case on page 13, case number CE 22010665, case address 517 Northwest 23rd Avenue, owner Hazanga 517 Land Trust, property posted 7/21/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city, case number CE 22010665, case address 517 Northwest 23rd Avenue. This property was first inspected on January 29, 2022 by previous Inspector Lopez, and then again on May 19, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 9-280B is complied, 18-12A is complied, 9-280H is complied, 9-276C3 is complied, 9-280D is complied, 9-280G is complied, 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia and soffits, are in disrepair. There are areas of the exterior that have stains and missing peeling paint. Inspection report mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on January 29, 2022, and amended on May 19, 2022. I inspected the property yesterday, and that violation still remained. I've been getting text messages from the property manager this morning showing that they are correcting it at this time. We're still going to request 35 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
So ordered.
Our next case is on page 15, Inspector Gustavo Caracas, case number CE 22050584, case address 1512 Southeast 12th Court, rear parking, owner Broad Baron Inc., property posted 7/18/22, posted at City Hall 7/26/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Officer Caracas for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case number CE 22050584 for the property located at 1512 Southeast 2nd Court, rear parking. Inspection of the property was performed on May 19th and cited for the following violations. 18-12A, there's overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and its swale. This is a recurring violation. This case will be presented to the Special Magistrate as a recurring violation for CE 21060603, whether or not it comes into compliance before the hearing. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. Courtesy notice was mailed to the property owner listed on BCPA First Class Mail on May 19 of 2022, allowing 10 days to come into compliance. Contact has been made with the property owner representative. Special Magistrate request form sent on June 1st of 2022 and scheduled for today's Special Master. Pre-hearing inspection was actually done yesterday, and the pictures presented here were taken to confirm the violations have been brought into compliance. Your Honor, this case is presented before you as a recurrent violation for 18-12A only. The case is in compliance. Yes, ma'am.
You want a finding of fact, is that it? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Finding a fact for 18-12A.
Okay, So ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Our next case is on page 18, case number CE 22060385, case address 781 Southwest 26th Avenue. Owner Lazaro Quinones and Yordanka Galvin. This case was cited on 6/15/22 to comply by 6/16/22. One section complied at $100 per day, $1,000 accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed, and no appeal was received for the citation.
So ordered.
Our next case on page 19, case number CE 22031206, case address 3057 Southwest 2nd Street. Owner FKH SFRC1 LP and care of First Key Homes LLC. This case was first heard on 6/14/22 to comply by 6/28/22. One section not complied at $25 per day, $1,025 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
So ordered.
Our next case is on page 21, case number CE 22060532. Case address 300 Northeast 4th Street, owner Dependable Equities LLC. This case was cited on 6/21/22 to comply by 6/22/22. One section complied at $250 per day, $2,000 accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed, and no appeal was received for the citation.
So ordered.
For case number CE 22041022, the city is requesting to vacate the final order of June 30th, 2022, and close the case.
So ordered.
Our next case is on page 23. Case number CE 22060745, case address 300 West Sunrise Boulevard, owner Dale's Properties 300 West Sunrise LLC. This case was cited on 6/27/22 to comply by 7/4/22. One section complied at $250 per day, $4,000 accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed, and no appeal was received for the citation.
So ordered.
Case number CE 22060209, case address 1433 Northeast 5th Terrace, owner Marie-Laurie Desmareau and Freddie Desmareau. This case was cited on 6/14/22 to comply by 6/29/22. One section complied at $200 per day, $5,400 accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed, and no appeal was received for the citation.
So ordered.
On page number 24, case number CE 22070188, case address 748 Northwest 22nd Road, owner Jazz Brow Homes LLC. The citation was issued on 7/9/22 to comply by 7/9/22. One section complied at $150. The city is requesting that the $150 fine be imposed.
So ordered.
The city is requesting to enter pages 28, page 28, into today's hearing as an exhibit. It is the city's list of complied, closed, withdrawn, and rescheduled cases.
So ordered.
This concludes the special magistrate hearing for August 9, 2022. We will now prepare for our lien reduction hearing.
Okay, do you swear and affirm to speak the truth at today's proceedings? Okay.
Our first case is on page 1. Case number CE 22020259, case address 1540 Southwest 5th Place, number 1, owner 101 Riverside Realty Group LLC. This case has a total lien value of $8,200 and city direct cost of $379.34. The city is requesting $4,100 and no appeal was received in the issuance of the initial citation.
Please state your name for the record.
Patrick Cleary.
Okay. Do you want to read in the second case as well?
Sure. Also on page 1, case number CE 22020261, case address 1548 Southwest 5th Place, number 2, owner 101 Riverside Realty Group LLC. This case has a total lien value of $9,400 and city direct cost of $420.80. The city is requesting $4,700 and no appeal was received for the citation.
Okay. What do you want to tell me in mitigation of the fines?
Okay. We have a rather, I believe, a complex situation here. In the last 5 years, we've been in compliance, and we've always worked very closely with our inspectors, and we've been given a lot of communication and transparency. This year was a little bit different. We ran into some changes with fees that we never had to pay before. For example, the previous 4 years, we always paid 1 application per building because the application allowed 4 units under 1 roof. We've always paid 1 business tax receipt because we're just 1 business entity for all our rental properties. This year, when it came time to do the renewals, we were informed that we had to pay 1 renewal application fee for every rental unit based on the Broward County Property Appraisal's parcel numbers, which went from paying $150 in a renewal application fee to paying for just 3 buildings to paying 12 separate ones, which increased our fees several grand. Then, after we paid our renewal fees and tried working with the inspector, who had a very limited schedule, and I remember, I even have all the emails here, you know, it took him a week to get a schedule with him, even after the citation was issued. Moving forward, after all the inspections had passed, we found out that we had to pay 12 separate business tax receipts as well, one for each rental property. Again, I had only paid 1 business tax receipt because that's just 1 business, and the business address is my home address where I operate. I was forced to pay 12 of those separately, also increasing my fees several grand. When we came into this year, we were carrying a lot of debt from the pandemic because we were losing a lot of business, and we weren't sure if we were going to stay in business come this new year. So we knew that our certificates would not expire until March, beginning March, April, and May. So we thought we had time to decide if we were going to keep our business open and continue to employ people. We used the spring break business that we receive every year to allocate our resources and determine whether or not we'd renew or not. We received a citation middle of March, which was the height of spring break. The initial citation was posted on our community side entrance gate where nobody uses. That was around March 16th. It had rained that day. The notice got washed away. Nobody saw it. I didn't receive an email from the application department until March 21st. That's when I sprung into action and paid the renewal fees, even though that's when I also learned that I had to pay 12 separate renewal fees. And it took about 48 hours to get a determination why I had to pay 12 separate ones, and that's when I was finally told it was based on the parcel numbers with the Broward County Appraisal's Office. I have emails from Bridget in that department explaining that to me. Then it took another 48 hours after that for Inspector Oaks to reach out to me. He's had limited schedule availability. He could only see the properties between 1 and 4 p.m. And typically our properties have to be ready and prepared by 1 p.m. so that our tenants and guests can arrive. So that it made it very challenging to get him in at those times because our properties are already reserved at least 3 months in advance. But we worked with him. We tried to come up with a schedule and plan and get him in as many as we can, as quickly as we can. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we have new cleaning restrictions. So when he goes in there after we've already cleaned it, we have to go back in and clean it again. Those are rules we've been following since the beginning of the pandemic, but it's been a little bit more relaxed now that everything's back to full speed. Then I have an email from Mr. Oaks the day after he initially contacted me, said he was going to be out of town until April 1st. So already there, our 15-day extension, or to be in compliance, had already expired before we could even schedule a first.
Why didn't you file for an appeal in this case
So
and ask for more time?
I was advised I didn't need to do that because I reached out to Bridget and Gabriel Callowan for an extension, because normally you guys, they usually work with us, and notice if they see that we're working hard to be in compliance, they work with us and give us these extensions. I have an email where I was explained that the extension would be until June 1st. But what they failed to mention was that the compliance would not be exempt from the fee extension. So they didn't explain it was just a fee extension. They explained it was an extension, but they didn't explain that the compliance certificate was not exempt. So I thought I had till June 1st to be in compliance at that time. So that's when I continued to work with Mr. Oaks and schedule as many as I could and get them done. By June 1st, somewhere around that time, between April 1st and June 1st, I'm working on figuring out a way to pay for these business tax receipts, which I still didn't get a very clear answer, and it wasn't until later that it was because of the parcel numbers.
Why didn't you just take this sign down and stop renting during the time you knew you were out of compliance?
Well, we have 12 properties, and every one of them has a different expiration date. And we usually file our renewal applications, right around this time every year. And like I said, weren't sure if we were going to stay in business, so we were waiting till the expiration of, by the first one, which was somewhere in the middle of March, I think March 16th. These properties are already booked, 3 to 6 months in advance. If we're have to shut our doors down last minute, we're losing tens of thousands, and I'm out of business, and so are my employees. It just wasn't, and I thought I had enough room to work with Mr. Oaks, and I thought we could get it done in 15 days. Because I have the emails. The day they emailed me on March 21st, I sprung into action and paid all those fees I could. But it wasn't later that June 1st, they emailed me and said, we can't issue a certificate until you pay all your business tax receipts. And I didn't understand why I had to pay 12 separate business tax receipts, because I had never had to do that before. So then June 1st, I sprung into action. I paid all of them, despite not agreeing with it, but I still paid them. I got all my certificates. We're in compliance as of June 1st, which I thought was my extension. And here we are today, and in less than 30 days from now, I have to do this process all over again with the renewals.
All right, well, some of this is the cost of doing business because you determined that you were going to stay open during this period and continue to rent and continue to earn money on the property.
I had to figure out a way to pay for these fees.
While I understand that the laws change, when you're in business like this, you're supposed to keep track of what your responsibilities are and make certain that you're complying with the current code.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't disagree. The problem is that the fees changed without any notice.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wanted to renew at the last minute, but still, I wasn't informed in any other way that I had to pay 12 separate application fees. despite the application process saying you're allowed to have 4 units under one roof. Now, the owner of each unit never combined all the parcel numbers, so that's why you guys said that I have to pay 12 separate renewal fees.
Yeah, and all of this could have been heard had you filed the appeal. And the citation says you have 15 days to do that.
Well, I was trying to be in compliance. Normally, you guys will, when it was like this, the previous years, you guys were working with us. You never said that, this was a hard and fast rule as far as like the inspectors go, because it's all documented that we're communicating and trying to schedule with them.
Your magistrate?
Yeah.
Sorry, if I may, Katrina Johnson Jordan, Administrative Supervisor for the City of Fort Lauderdale, and I also supervise the vacation rental process. The certificates expired on September 30th of the previous year. So when he received the citation in March, he'd already been given time to get because our process was backed up, we basically gave all property owners time to get their applications in so that we could assess them timely. The reason why the code officers are then backed up is because everyone wants to do it after they get the citation instead of in time. And just for the record, we complied both cases as of May 12th and May 18th. So even though we didn't inspect an issue until June, we still complied them back to when we felt that it was proper to do so.
Okay.
Okay, I thought I addressed that earlier, because on the website, it differentiates the difference between the application renewal process due date and the expiration of certificates. Because they're 1 year after they're issued.
Your certificate states that it expires on September 30th. So on September 30th, 2021, your certificate expired, which means it should have already been renewed as of April 2021, not April 2022. It is renewed before it expires, not after.
All right, well, that wasn't very clear to me at that time.
All right. On the first case, I'm going to reduce the fine to $2,800. And on the second case, I'll reduce the fine, $2,500 on the first case and $2,600 on the second case.
Thank you.
And 90 days to pay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next cases are on page 2. Property address 2609 Northeast 27th Way. Case number CE 16091883. Owner Elias Machellos. And case number for case number CE 16091883, the total lien amount is $209,950 with an administrative cost of $1,784.61, and the city requests $41,990. For case number, and also case number CE 18091949, owner Elias Machellos. The total lien amount is $15,150 with administrative costs of $587.55. The city is requesting $3,030. There are also 2 cases, case number CE 2202-0122 and BE 2007-0030, with hard costs totaling $3,957, which are non-negotiable and due.
Okay, sir, please state your name for the record.
Bruce Herman, good morning.
What do you want to tell me as to why
I represent Mr. Marchellos and his wife, Martha. By way of background, these people have been in this house for 20-plus years without any problems. What happened is the husband's business ran into some financial hardships. Lawsuits were filed back and forth between family members, lost his business. During that time, he had a major stroke, and he is now 100% incompetent and living in a nursing home. Martha had no means of support, just trying to struggle through. These violations are mostly landscape-type violations. She just couldn't keep up with it, doing her best to keep up with it. Nothing safety, no safety problems. It just was in
I
a...
disagree with that. The pool at this location filled with green stagnant water is
Oh,
a
okay,
safety
yes,
issue.
you're correct about the pool. Yeah, I forgot.
Health and safety issue.
You're right about the pool. She was just under extreme financial hardship. She's now working at Target, trying to make ends meet. This house, we have a contract on the house now. Well, then the property went into foreclosure. I helped her defend a foreclosure so we could get to a point where we could procure a contract in an effort to save whatever equity she has left in the property. This is her only asset.
And how much did she net from the sale of the property?
It hasn't sold yet. The buyers are here. It hasn't sold yet because, of course, the title company wants these title.
Will she net from the property? I understand the purchase price is $925,000.
Yes.
Okay, what will the owner net from the sale?
They had the first mortgage. There was a second mortgage on the property with the SBA. That particular mortgage was signed on by her husband and the brother. The brother is not paying. We've tried to negotiate with the SBA. They won't talk to us. It's a shame. That loan is 300 and probably 3.25 by now. Her net out of this, her only asset left, subject to whatever you guys do here, is about $55,000 to $60,000. That's all she's ever going to have left to live on because she's too old to pretty much, like I said, she's got a 9-to-5 job now at a retail store. And this is homestead property, by the way, as we all know, with respect to those liens. So we're really asking for some mercy here. None of this was intentional. None of this was ignoring what the city was doing. It was just a complete inability to comply due to major financial hardships. I would think that the city should probably recover its administrative costs or something along those lines.
Well, the administrative costs alone total $6,329 for all four
Does that
cases.
include the board? Does that include the part that's not negotiable? Because I was told that no matter what, that we have.
City costs are never negotiable.
Yeah,
so-
or not,
Yeah.
right, okay. We have to live with that.
Yeah,
The rest of it is it's just gonna eat away at whatever nest egg she has left.
okay, all right. I'm not unsympathetic for your client's financial difficulties, but, these properties were out of compliance for 1,883 days with a stagnant pool, landscape that anyone could have come in and just,
Basically had no money. I don't know what else to tell you. She was a housewife, there's nothing wrong with that at all, but life threw her a real bad situation when her husband suffered this stroke and was unable to defend himself. And it's over. Otherwise, she'd be living in her car.
Okay, well, like I said, I have to award the city their costs, which are over $6,000. In addition to that, I will reduce the fines on the first one to, there's $1,784 in costs, so that's, I'll reduce this to $3,800, and on the second property, I will reduce to $1,000, and the second two properties, obviously, all the costs have to be reimbursed. So that's the best I can do.
Whatever. What is that total?
Let's do 60 days to pay, because you're going to close, right? And
Yes, beautiful home they're going to build on the property. They brought pictures of it. Actually, they're going to knock it down and start over again because the house is in such.
Okay, so $3,800 plus
Yeah.
$1,000 plus all city costs.
You happen to know what that total might be? So we're going to get moving on a closing here. I got to figure out.
You can go ahead and email me, and I'll get that out to you later.
Oh, good. Thanks, Monique. Okay, I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to your
It's
client.
8757.
Sad, very sad.
She just told it for us. 8757 is the total.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. There's something left over.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The next case is on page 3, case number BE 2007-0013, property address 2817 North Atlantic Boulevard, owner O'Brien Family Land Trust. Total lien amount is $14,950 with administrative cost of $1,146.21, and the city requests $4,485.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Carol Storms.
Okay,
I'm the trustee of the O'Brien Land Trust.
all right, and what do you want to tell me in mitigation of this fine?
I'd like to state that it's been a difficult situation. We had a contract and we're in foreclosure. And when the title company ran the title search, they found the lien that was from 2009. There was an umbrella of permits, and one of which was not closed out, which we didn't know. So the bank's attorney contacted our attorney contacted the city attorney. She happened to have COVID at the time because time was of the essence. So they set me up with a meeting to talk with Jose Segusti to find out exactly what I needed to do because time was of the essence. So I met with Jose Segusti, sat in his office. He filled out the paperwork for me on what I needed to do. I brought it back to the city and went through all the motions, only to find out that whatever he asked me to fill out was incorrect. So the building manager, Bill Kramer, stepped up to the plate and helped me so I could have my inspection done by Glenn Davis, who came out to the house to see that there wasn't an issue. I guess evidently in that master permit in 2009, they stated kitchen and bathroom remodel, but there wasn't a remodel. It was sort of just he calls it a refresh. So we got into code and compliance. Unfortunately, it was on June the 15th, and the buyer refused to go through with the sale because of the liens that were attached, and we fell out. So I'm now here to plead my case, to get the lien reduction reduced so that I can pursue a buyer and close this matter up.
Okay. Administrative costs are over $1,100. All right, I will reduce the fine to $1,800 payable within 90 days.
Is that the total? I have to know what the total is.
Pardon me?
The total amount will
Yes,
be inclusive.
inclusive.
Okay, so I can let the attorney know it's $1,800 that we owe.
Yes,
Okay, thank you kindly.
you're welcome.
Our next case is on page 1, case number CE 2203-0635, property address 1820 Northeast 54th Street, owner Deborah Ann Smith Living Trust. The total lien amount is $3,800 with administrative costs of $361.48. The city's requesting $1,900. The appeal deadline was April 10th, 2022, and no appeal was received.
Please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Alex Karamanoglu. I'm a friend of Demon's.
Okay, and what do you want to tell me in mitigation of the fine?
There was just one thing that was hard for us to understand. It was the deactivation of the listing versus basically shutting down the classified or the advertisement. So that wasn't clear. And while it was turned off, it wasn't deactivated. Deactivated is a much more severe step because it basically removes everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. You know, the rules are what the rules are in terms of certification, but the easiest thing to do when you get a notice like that, first of all, you didn't appeal it, and that's a problem.
Correct.
But the easiest thing to do is to deactivate and take the advertisement down, and then you'll be in compliance until you can get the certification finished.
No, precisely, but I think it was the semantics. I guess we didn't understand what the activation meant versus just turning off the listing. So that's where it was. So from your perspective, from the city's perspective, we weren't in compliance even though the advertisement was off, but they had the listing hadn't been removed fully from Airbnb. And again, it's a much more severe thing, and people, well, the whole thing is why have to go through the entire process of putting the photos again?
But you weren't renting it during this time?
No, again, the classified was off.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, I will reduce the fine to $900 payable within 60 days.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The next case is on page 3. Case number CE 2203-0546, property address 5251 Northeast 26th Ave, owner Kathleen Kennedy and Donald Weber. The total lien amount is $6,600 with administrative costs of $361.48. The city requests $3,300. The appeal deadline was April 1st, 2022, and no appeal was received.
Good morning. Name is Jason Clark, representing Kathleen and Don Weber. When the notice was provided at the home, unfortunately, and this is no excuse, unfortunately I was in California, visiting my mother. She was been in the hospital. When I got back, it was still there. I got it. I notified the city, Gabriel Callowan. And my apologies, I don't know if it was the current inspector or if it was Gail, whom I was corresponding with at the time. But the advertisements were taken down. The property was not rented. That's unfortunately why there was not appeal.
Yeah, but
Presented for
what
the
I'm
property.
reading is that it was out of compliance for 33 days, and it was continued to be advertised during that.
Unfortunately, again, it was, not that it was an oversight, it was comparable to what the gentleman before said. It was turned off. It was, unfortunately, that expired. It came back, became aware of it, and immediately shut it down. At which point after that, the advertisement was never live in any capacity until I physically met Gail at the property, at which point it was inspected, it was licensed, and all of that was taken care of. So my first issue, unfortunately, and I'm just full disclosure, was taking care of my mother in California. Got back, that's why I missed the appeal, unfortunately. Turned the advertisement off, got everything ready for inspection. It came back up again very quickly, was shut off, and it is now fully in compliance and will continue to be so.
Okay.
Moving forward. So my sincere apologies for that. It was not, none of it was certainly intentional.
Okay. I will reduce the fine to $1,100 with 60 days to pay.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
The next case is on page 3. Case number CE 2203-0620, property address 5841 Bayview Drive, owners Martin Hanna and Marina Mativa. Total lien amount is $3,800 with administrative costs of $315.48. The city requests $1,900. The appeal deadline was April 8th, 2022, and no appeal was received.
Good morning, Your Honor. Martin Hanna, owner.
Please state your name for the record.
Martin Hanna, owner.
Welcome. What do you want to tell me in mitigation of this fine?
We received the fine, or it was issued on March 23rd. On March 24th, we filed the application with all the paperwork. We were already working on it. We had the state licenses, business tax, notarized sales tax letter, all of it the next day.
I saw that.
Submitted. Unfortunately, it wasn't until 14 days later that I was made aware that the city can't see the attachments in our application, and they closed it. I have a printout where you can see the date stamps of the attachments. They're available for the public in that previous application. And so I went ahead and filed another application, and unfortunately, that one went through. And after that happened, I requested the inspection to happen right away. On April 12th, I asked the inspector to schedule this as soon as possible. His reply on April 13th was that the earliest he can do is April 22nd, 10 days later. If it weren't for the 14 days and the 10 days we're waiting for the inspection, we would have done everything in 10 days within the 15 days window. And that's why I'm asking if we can do a reduction to this lien.
Okay. All right. I will reduce the fine to $850 with 60 days to pay.
I appreciate it, Your Honor. Thank you.
This concludes the August 9th, 2022 lien reduction hearing.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. It's been a pleasure. I'm
Yes,
sorry that
me
we
too.
started on such
Well, you know,
unbalanced terms.
they were here last time.
I didn't. The thing is, I kept having to talk to Portia. Because I'm like, wait, does he have a record of the violation? Does he have this? So I was talking to her.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to think I was being rude. It's just that
No,
Rhonda
no.
knew all about it.
No,
and I didn't.
what happened last time was that not even the lawyer knew